Did you know that those mysterious barcodes that you see on some products on Amazon are unique to selling on this platform? As a brand, are you aware of which one you use and why? In this video, we'll uncover the facts behind the Amazon barcode versus the manufacturer barcode. Have you ever been confused when trying to decide between those two types of barcodes, the Amazon barcode or the manufacturer barcode? Well, you're not alone, and today in this video, I'm going to delve into the confusion that brands sometimes face when they're trying to understand the differences between the Amazon barcode and their manufacturer barcode. Now, there are times when you'll want or even need to use one over the other, and I'll talk about that later. So it's important that you understand what each one is and when they can be used. So what exactly sets those two barcodes apart? Any inventory that you send into Amazon, no matter what it is, if it's sent into Amazon's warehouse through FBA, you will need to have some barcode for Amazon to physically scan when they receive or check in your inventory at their warehouses. So if you want to learn more, for instance, about FBA versus FBN, I have a whole video here. Make sure to check that out if you want to learn which one's better for you and your brand. Now, Amazon barcodes, they are assigned by Amazon to track products that come to their warehouse. So they're typically like a combination of numbers and letters, whereas on the other hand, the manufacturer barcodes, those are going to be like UPCs, EANs. Those are going to be globally recognized codes that are identifying your products, and they're often used for retail purposes outside of Amazon, and everything like that. So the purpose and usage of those barcodes can vary significantly. So while Amazon barcodes, they're very specific to this platform and they help streamline inventory management within the e-commerce giant's ecosystem, manufacturer barcodes, they are more universally used and recognized along different retailers. Now, here are a few things to note about each. If you have a product, for instance, that's an Amazon exclusive, perhaps you have a size that you just want to sell on Amazon, and then might want to consider using that Amazon barcode by choice. Now, there are two options, but I'm going to actually share with you a third option that bigger brands are leveraging that you as a small business may want to be using as well. So the first option is to label it yourself. So when your warehouse ships boxes or pallets to Amazon's warehouse, you'll need to label each unit with an Amazon barcode. The second option is that you can actually then pay Amazon to label it for you. And that might be an option if for whatever reason your shipper, your logistics provider isn't labeling, and typically that is going to be a more expensive option. Now the third option, this is one that's not really shared as much, but I do see larger brands using this, is actually printing the product packaging to have the Amazon barcode on the product itself. So it takes out that physical need to put each label on a unit, but you're still able to use an Amazon barcode. I think this is a good long-term option if you have to use an Amazon barcode, and that may have been by choice if you just plan to sell that particular product on Amazon only and you don't want people buying your product from retail stores with UPCs and then reselling that on Amazon. That could be, like I said, an Amazon exclusive. Customers can only get this particular product on Amazon. So that's the only channel that you go through for that particular size, for instance. So sometimes too, if you didn't set up the listing yourself and maybe you had an unauthorized third-party seller that did that, then, or even maybe authorized, but they did it incorrectly, then you might be forced to use an Amazon barcode label for some time, because if the UPC on the listing, like the back end of the listing for the product, doesn't match what's in Amazon's system, you're going to have to use an Amazon barcode, because otherwise Amazon won't know what product just got sold and which product to pull and then ship. So if you haven't watched the video that I did on gaining brand control over unauthorized sellers on Amazon, make sure to watch that here. I think you'll find that very helpful. Now, for the manufacturer barcode, this is when the UPC on the listing is correct, and it does really simplify the process for sending inventory into Amazon's warehouse, since everything matches. So when they physically scan your product, it will then connect to the correct Amazon ASIN in your product catalog in Seller Central. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative so far, and share your thoughts in the comments below. So when you use this barcode, you will want to make sure that, meaning the manufacturer one, you will want to make sure that the list and the MSRP price matches what it is, since Amazon is going to have their bots that are going to scan other major online retailers. And if, for instance, they see a price lower on a competitor's website for a product that matches the UPC of your product for your Amazon listing, they actually might suppress your buy box. And I do have a video that you can watch on the buy box and what that even means. And I think you'll find that helpful if you're dealing with that issue. Now, if you have other people selling your products on Amazon, are you familiar with what's called virtual tracking? And it used to be called commingling, but basically virtual tracking, that'll use the manufacturer's barcode to trace the product throughout its time being at an Amazon fulfillment center. So your products will actually be stored separately from identical products from other sellers, and Amazon will choose to ship an order based on where they can give the customer the fastest shipping, and typically it's going to be the cheapest for them, so it's going to be usually inventory that is closest to that customer. But that is a common question because people think, is my product that I sent in, is it going to be, pulled for someone else's sale? That's not going to be the case. So the difference between the Amazon and manufacturer barcode, it's really an interesting one. Sometimes, like I said, you can choose which barcode you'll want to use, but other times you will actually have to use a specific one based on what Amazon requires. So for instance, there might be times where you just have to use the Amazon barcode. And speaking of labeling, if you're having issues with other people selling counterfeits of your product, or really maintaining control of your product listings and who is selling your products, I think that you're going to find this next video where I dig into the transparency program helpful and find out if it's for you or not.